up and start flipping those burgers. But make sure you're not garnishing your food with something that could be very dangerous. We're talking about these wire grill brushes.
What can go wrong with these?
Everybody leaves these outside. And this is basically untreated metal. They rust and these bristles fall out.
Those sharp bristles can end up in your food. Here's one stuck to a grill.
I feel like a really bad pinch on my throat.
This Seattle woman ended up swallowing a bristle.
My pain was just horrible.
This is the x-ray showing the bristle lodged in her throat. She had surgery to remove it. The internet is loaded with doctors and regular folks warning against wire brushes.
Do not use a wire bristle to clean your grill.
Chef Shane McBride, co-owner of the restaurant Pig Beach, shared some cleaning options other than wire brushes.
You literally just put a fork into an onion
Yep.
and just rub it right on.
An onion to the rescue. And there's another surprise grill cleaner, a lemon.
Lemon's got a little acid in there, so you're gonna get a little sanitation action while you're doing it.
There's also the tried and true dish towel. Just put some oil on it.
Hold it tight
Got it.
and just right on the grill.
Right on there.
Is it okay if there's still a little bit left on there?
Yeah, sure. Anything on there is gonna continue to cook and just burn off.
And look
There
at
you
that.
A safely cleaned grill followed by a scrumptious burger.
That is a good burger.
So enjoy the weekend.
Cheers.
Are you cleaning your house all wrong? Lifestyle expert Marissa Brainy has some spring cleaning tips that will have you saying, I didn't know that.
When I'm cleaning a counter surface like this, I'll spray and then I'll give this a quick wipe right away. Is that the right thing to do?
This is what I do. I like to spray and then walk away
Let the spray sit for about 3 minutes.
so that all of the ingredients that are those germ-busting ingredients have time to actually do their job.
Did you know your cleaning products actually expire?
Most last about 2 years before they start losing their effectiveness.
Really? I had no idea that these expired.
They do.
Where's the expiration date?
So a lot of times it's on the label. It's usually very small. This one says 2024, so I'm gonna make sure to be using this year.
What about laundry?
Did you know you actually should be washing not just your pillowcases, but also your pillows? There is so much bacteria and allergens and all of that that builds up actually inside the pillow. It's a really good idea to wash, especially in the spring.
Now to the kitchen.
Is there a right way to actually load your dishwasher?
There are so many opinions about this, but here's what works the best in terms of silverware. You want to make sure that the forks are actually facing up when you load it. And then here's a fun trick. Spoons, you want to alternate every other so that they get the most clean.
Knives down, forks up. Wow. Okay, I really did not know that.
A dire warning today for parents flying with kids. In the wake of that terrifying incident aboard an Alaska Airlines flight, the FAA is telling parents not to hold their babies in their lap on flights. The safest place for your child is in an approved restraint system or device, not in your lap, the FAA says. 3 babies were on board when a door plug blew off the plane in midair. Babies fly for free if they don't have their own seat, which is why many parents choose to hold them on their laps during flights. But the FAA says saving on that extra ticket just isn't worth the risk to a child. Would you rather pay for that seat, or is it better to have them at under 2 just be on your lap?
Be on your lap.
If it's free, I'll do it, but if not, it's a fortune.
What's the safest way to travel with a baby? The FAA says a child should be in a car seat approved for use on aircraft, or in an airplane seat with a harness like this one.
You really want to make sure that you are, strapped in and have your child in the safest place possible.
It's easy to see why drivers are at their wits' ends. At this gas station in Los Angeles, a gallon of premium is an astounding $7.89 a gallon. Even regular gas costs more than $7. But experts say don't let the high prices cause you to risk your safety.
You could be seriously injured, if not killed, from a flash fire from gasoline.
Chief Fire Marshal Michael Utero showed reporter Allison Hall how to store gasoline safely.
For starters, you want to make sure that you purchase a gas container that's rated for the transportation of gasoline.
Non-approved containers could blow up.
If you do fill a container like this with gasoline, many times the gasoline will actually start eating away at the container and will start to leak and spill, and now that creates a serious fire hazard.
To fill up, place your approved container on the ground.
Then get down even with it, hold it to stabilize it to make sure it doesn't move around, and then start the fueling process.
When finished, tap the nozzle to avoid dripping and replace cap. Store inside the passenger compartment where it won't roll around, and never transport more than 4 of these 5-gallon containers of gas. Yep, it's true. This bride and groom had a totally dreamy wedding for just $500. How did Kiera and Joel Brokenbrow do it?
My whole thing was, okay, how can I get what I want without breaking the bank? So I just started to look at my resources.
First, the venue, a free public park. Then the invite.
I'm very creative, so I made the invitation.
The mother of the bride is a pastor, so she came free. The flowers were gifted by her godmother. And as for music,
I created a playlist on iTunes and we just let it play.
Kiera's gorgeous bridal gown was just $47. Joel, how much was your tux?
About $100.
So you're the spender of the group. This was no small affair. 40 guests, but the reception was held at a local restaurant, and the guests picked up their individual tabs.
We let them know on the invitation this is where we're going to be celebrating. Food and drink will be available for purchase if they want it.
Grand total, under $500.
We got married for less than $500.
This border collie named Winter is having a great time splashing around in a kiddie pool. It looks like the perfect way to beat the heat on a scorching day. The 18-month-old puppy loved the water. But the day this video was taken, Winter died. Not of heat stroke, but water intoxication. Yep, he gulped down too much water right out of the kiddie pool. Suddenly, Winter's owner notices something strange.
And then he started getting a bit tired. Then he was kind of wanting to go back inside, and so I opened the door and he took a few steps and he threw up about the size of a dinner table, like that much water just in one go.
Jessie Winiger says her dog very rapidly went downhill at the vet and died. Veterinarian Dr. Timna Lee emphasizes that water intoxication in dogs is rare but real, and says if your dog likes the water the way Winter did, you should know the warning signs.
You want to watch out for any sort of lethargy more than normal. You want to watch out for any drooling, vomiting, diarrhea.
Experts say don't be afraid to let your dog enjoy the summer. Just be aware if they're drinking a bit too much.
Ivana Trump may have been world famous, but the manner of her death happens to lots of ordinary people. There are 1 million stare-related injuries reported every year. The most common types of injuries are sprains, strains, bruises, and broken bones. According to the medical examiner's report, the first wife of former President Trump suffered blunt impact injuries to her torso.
Chances are she fell rolling down that stairs and hitting each step as she went down.
A fall like that can cause severe injury to vital organs.
It could be the heart, the lungs, the liver, the spleen, anything that would bleed, and then the blood would collect. And once she loses enough blood, she would become unconscious.
It's what her best friend Nikki Haskell says she has always dreaded.
But I was so upset because they had told me that she had fallen down these stairs in her house, which I always hated, and I always thought they were very treacherous. So it was like, I couldn't believe that this actually happened.
How do you safely walk down a flight of stairs?
Physical therapist Dr. Karina Wu says you can prevent a fall like the kind Ivana suffered.
The first thing I teach patients is to slow down, take your time, and pay attention. The next one is to use the banister or the walls for balance. There should be no objects in the stairwell so that she doesn't have to trip over anything. And then she should have the proper footwear on so that the shoe doesn't slip off.
Have you ever fallen on stairs?
I have.
You have?
I have. I fell up.
Going up.
Stairs. This is before I was old enough to realize safety is holding on.
According to reports, Ivana Trump's body was found next to a cup of spilled coffee. Could she have been carrying the cup when she fell?
Jean should really not have anything in hand. So I know she's got this coffee and she wants to take it down, but having this is going to be more dangerous.
Ivana Trump, an untimely death, throwing the spotlight on an accident that can happen to anyone.
All across America, people are struggling to sleep in this oppressive heat. especially if you don't have air conditioning. So, what should we do? First tip, start cooling down your bedroom during the day, says certified sleep consultant Jenny June.
Throughout the day, keep the doors open to the bedroom so that air can circulate.
Also, even though you may crave sunshine, keep the blinds closed all day. Another tip,
Well, heat rises, so if you can sleep downstairs, you're going to benefit.
no downstairs bedroom? Turn your couch into a makeshift bed with a top sheet. This little guy is telling mommy it's too hot to sleep.
It's too hot. It's very tough to get a 2-year-old to go to sleep, especially we've all heard the terrible twos, but now that it's hot, it's even especially more difficult.
Our expert says send your child to bed with something cold, like a frozen teddy bear.
Grab a bottle of water and spray down their little stuffed animals or toys, stick them in the freezer.
And what you eat all day long can affect how you sleep.
Believe it or not, what you eat during the day will impact sleep. So protect your gut health, light meals, nothing heavy before bed.
One final tip, what not to wear to bed.
Naked is best, but if you must wear pajamas, make sure they're lightweight, breathable cotton, and use cotton bedding and sheets as well.
Many are saying hello to another game on the court, pickleball. Its popularity continues to skyrocket, but there's a warning so you don't end up, well, in a pickle.
It's the hottest sport of the summer of 2022, pickleball. One reason, it's easy to play.
The first time you touch a pickleball and a paddle, you could play. Tennis, it's a year or two.
Rachel Simon is the author of Pickleball for All.
You can start playing without needing to buy a lot of expensive equipment or take really intense lessons.
Pickleball exploded in popularity when the country was in COVID lockdown.
We were outdoors, we were social distanced. People came from all over to just get out of their homes, play, have fun.
There's another bonus, the social aspect.
One of the things I discovered while writing the book was just how many players at different levels had met their best friends or their partners.
One of the main attractions of the game is it's especially easy on the bodies of older folks. Everyone in this group is over 50.
And I used to play a lot of racquetball, and that was really hard on my body. And pickleball is not quite as hard, but it's still got a good workout.
Like I played tennis in college, and then I couldn't play in my 40s. I just couldn't do it anymore. It hurt my shoulder, everything else. This is so much easier on my body.
Like with any sport, pickleball is also seeing its fair share of injuries, including ankle, knee and shoulder sprains, wrist fractures, and concussions from falling.
We always recommend stretching before you play, getting the body loose and warm.
Bottom line, you don't have to have Serena Williams' skill to get on the pickleball court. Anyone can do it.
Wild wind sends rain blowing sideways as a dad runs outside to anchor his family's trampoline.
There goes Bennett.
Dad hammers away at the trampoline stakes.
Our tramp is pulling out of the ground. Dang it.
Suddenly,
oh my gosh, there goes a neighbor's tramp.
A neighbor's trampoline flies by.
Oh, dang. Bennett, get out of there.
Now mom's getting worried, and so is their little boy.
He will get taken too.
Then it happens, the trampoline breaks loose.
Oh my gosh. Bennett!
Thankfully, he gets back up. It's a common misconception that only a tornado or a hurricane can launch a trampoline, but in reality, it only takes 40-mile-an-hour winds to send one of these things flying into the air. Daniel Jazanovic is with Nail It Handyman and shows me how a 17-inch spiral tie-down stake can keep a trampoline in place.
You find your piece of land that you want to screw it down to, you apply medium to heavy pressure basically, and you push down as you continuously twist the tie-down stake in.
He says the stake should be screwed down between 15 and 18 inches. He adds a zip tie to help fortify it.
Like that, and this will prevent it from rocking or going anywhere. Right. Say the wind comes up, it's not going to pull the whole thing up.
Look, that's not coming out at all. Repeat for each side of the trampoline. Important safety precautions to ensure your trampoline doesn't go sailing into the wind.
Bennett!
This woman is walking out of her house. Just an ordinary day. Suddenly, she screams. What's that sound? Oh no, it's a gaggle of geese, and they're coming for her.
A new federal report shows more Americans than ever are being killed or injured by fireworks. It's a danger that's important to be aware of, especially this time of year. And even sparklers, which are so popular with kids, come with a warning.
This weekend, millions will gather to watch fireworks light up the night sky. But there's another tradition that happens this time every year. Serious fireworks accidents and mishaps. Rockets turning into flying missiles, injuring scores of Americans.
Oh my God!
Over 15,500 injuries reported in 2020 and 18 deaths, a 50% increase since 2019. In this demonstration, under the supervision of the Connecticut State Police, watch what happens when a popular but illegal firecracker called an M80 goes off inside a piece of raw chicken.
3, 2, 1.
It's obliterated.
Look at it. It's on me.
The flesh of chicken is similar to that of a human hand. Look what that firecracker did to the 5-pound chicken. Just imagine what it would do to the bones in your hand.
Michael Sexton says he can relate.
Both my hands broken, amputations on 3 of my fingertips.
He tells our Ann Mercogliano a similar firecracker he lit suddenly exploded last year. It was all caught on tape.
Do you consider it reckless, or was it just simply a mistake that so many people make?
It is reckless. You never know when it could go wrong.
Number 1 rule, always maintain a safe distance between your family and the fireworks, at least 35 to 50 feet.
And Sergeant Paul Maycook says they may look fun, but young children shouldn't be given sparklers unsupervised because they can reach temperatures of more than 1,200 degrees. The message this holiday weekend, be careful out there.
One expert suggests giving kids bamboo sparklers instead of the metal ones because bamboo won't get as hot as the metal.
Violence in parking lots at sports arenas across the USA is a growing problem. At SoFi Stadium, also in LA, a fan says he was walking to his car when he was actually thrown over a bridge that was packed with fans leaving the stadium after a Chargers football game.
I Googled myself, unfortunately, and saw the video. It was very difficult to watch. I stopped watching it. I probably watched it twice.
It happened last month to 41-year-old Austin Willenbring. He says he has no idea why he was targeted.
Something must have hit him or touched him. It gets bottlenecked. You're in there like cattle. That was very quick, but I remember looking up from the concrete steps up to people at the bridge, and it was just kind of silent with the ringing in my ear. I didn't really hear anything. It was just kind of like dead silent somewhat, just kind of looking up in shock and having trouble breathing.
His sister followed the guy and videotaped him. There have been no arrests.
You knocked my brother out. Keep punching me in the eye.
The attack was so shocking, these guys are still talking about it 2 weeks later. Experts say the greatest potential for violence is after an event, especially a sporting event. People have had lots of alcohol and they're either excited over their team's victory or angry about their team's loss. Safety expert Fred Simon is a former FBI agent. We brought him to SoFi Stadium for tips on what you should do when leaving a big sports event or concert.
I don't want people to be 100 where they think that someone's trying to kill them all the time. That's no way to live. But I don't want you to be at 0 where you're just completely right one rung above comatose.
So what else should you do?
Knowing where the security personnel are. I always notice where the police are in case I have to engage them. You have to have a little bit of awareness, maybe about 50-50, where you know your surroundings, you're looking for potential threats in terms of people and situations, circumstances, and you just have a calm awareness.
This young woman is winning national praise for fighting off her attacker at the gym. It's a story we told you about yesterday, and now women everywhere, including me, are taking lessons about what to do if they are accosted out of nowhere.
I wasn't really scared. I was just in my head, I was just thinking about safety, fight back, don't let him do anything to you.
The video starts with Nashali Alma working out in her building's gym in Tampa. It's 9:54 p.m. and she's all alone. Then you see her opening the door for the dude, who she recognized as a fellow tenant. Minutes later, the assault begins. She's chased and wrestled to the floor. She is relentless in trying to protect herself.
I think he was trying to, rape me. When we were on the ground wrestling for a little bit, I finally pulled his beard hairs and I yanked them all out and I told him, get off of me. And he finally just let go and I ran out.
So what are the lessons we can all learn from her ordeal? First, experts say she used a forceful voice, which was vital in sending the message to her assailant that she wasn't gonna back down. She also used her phone as a weapon, hitting him with it.
Have you taken any self-defense classes?
No, I have never taken self-defense classes. This was actually my very first fight.
Of course, it also helps that Nishali is in amazing shape, while her assailant ends up exhausted and in the dust as she runs off.
You should yell. And
I went to Krav Maga gym in Manhattan, where trainer Elaine Wilson looked at the video.
She uses her voice. She goes for vulnerable points. She's using common objects in the space to make sure that there's a barrier between her and her attacker.
Over the wrist.
Sahi Shemish is a former Israeli paratrooper. He says you have to take a defensive stance and use your voice.
Back up!
He says she could have gone beyond pulling his beard.
Instead, she could go BAM! And break his nose.
Push the arm away and run.
Yes.
Keep your knees bent and you can hit the knee, groin, and face. The suspect has been identified as Xavier Thomas Jones.
I knew that I had to fight.
Your dog may be your best friend, but be careful. You can be seriously injured while taking Fido out for a walk. A new 20-year study reveals more than 400,000 people have gone to the emergency room for dog walking injuries. Experts say it often happens when you're holding on to the leash and your dog suddenly yanks it. Orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jonathan Stiver says if you hit the ground, you can really get hurt.
Anything from a more minor sort of pull of the arm or upper extremity injury to a fall that results in a broken hip, a sprained ankle, or a spinal injury like a herniated disc.
Dog owners are also warned about running into the street after their dogs. That, of course, can result in serious injuries if you're hit by a car. 63-year-old Paula Adamirovich was about to walk her son's Labrador Retriever when the dog was distracted by another dog. What happened?
She took off and it must have been wrapped around my finger and it just cut it right off.
The leash literally sliced off the tip of her finger, bone included. It could not be reattached.
This is the leash, and it's like a nylon, and the edges are like sharp.
There are some tips to stay safe. Choose shorter leashes, 6 to 8 feet. Avoid retractable leashes. Avoid places that can distract a dog, like a schoolyard. Carry a squeaky toy or treat to get your dog's attention if they're distracted.
Yikes, it's that time of year. Ow! When people cut themselves carving pumpkins.
First you go in.
This woman ended up in urgent care.
I took a knife and I went, hi-ya! And I took my finger off the knife and it literally squirted blood.
The Halloween tradition is responsible for nearly 2,000 injuries each year. We asked Dr. Doretti Fufa, a top hand surgeon at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York, for tips on how to stay safe. She says you should avoid this kind of grip.
We want to decrease the chance that the hand could slide down the blade and get injured that way.
Try a carving kit like this that's especially designed for pumpkins. Use a sawing, not a stabbing motion. And never cut toward your hand.
Instead, place your hand on top of the pumpkin and make sure that you're cutting away from your hand, never towards your hand.
Another important tip, never put your hand inside the pumpkin when carving.
What we can do instead is replace the top of the pumpkin, and then this hand can instead be on the outside of the pumpkin.
Good advice to avoid a pumpkin carving nightmare.
More than 55% of all Americans will be attending a cookout this Labor Day weekend, and many will be grilling their chicken a little longer this year. Here's why.
It's spreading across America.
I'm getting chicken anxiety.
Just in time for Labor Day barbecues, social media is filled with people to eat chicken.
I would rather just about burn it to make sure it's cooked. Because if I get a squishy piece.
The hashtag chicken anxiety has 23 million views on TikTok.
For me, it is raw chicken. I am.
Absolutely terrified about it.
These ladies are cutting their chicken in small pieces to make sure it's cooked all the way through. If you're suffering from chicken anxiety, we're here to help.
We have all of the proteins. Chicken is the one you have to take the most seriously. You can only kill salmonella if it reaches 165 degrees. There is no medium rare for chicken.
Michelle Dahl-Olsen is head chef at HelloFresh. She showed our Allison Hall 2 different ways to make sure your chicken comes out perfect this holiday weekend.
The thermometer is really the only foolproof way to make sure you've hit 165. Otherwise, I would recommend slicing into the thickest part of one of the chicken breasts to see that it's cooked through. So our oven's set to 425.
18 minutes later,
right over 165.
Perfection.
So now grilling chicken. How do we make sure that we grill chicken safely?
You want to preheat it for about 10-15 minutes to make sure it's really nice and hot.
So this would be about 5 to 7 minutes aside?
Exactly.
14 minutes later.
Yay, 165! It's fully cooked through. We know it because the thermometer told us so.
So, how does it taste?
Nothing beats grilled chicken. That is delicious.
Chicken anxiety, be gone.
Chicken is the 3rd most popular food to grill on Labor Day behind the traditional staples, hot dogs and hamburgers.
This family is packing up the car for their annual Memorial Day road trip to the Jersey Shore. Mom and Dad's biggest fear?
Traffic.
Definitely traffic.
This is going to be the most traveled weekend since 2005, but if you're driving, there are going to be the most cars on the road ever. So don't drive between noon and 7 p.m.
Ron and Jane Karnick and their 2 young sons won't be leaving until 8 p.m. at the earliest.
We like to leave that late because if we can kind of get the kids to fall asleep, this way we don't have to worry about all the, are we there yet? How much longer is it going to take us?
Before hitting the road, you might want to download an app like Gas Buddy to look for the best deals at gas stations along the way.
Experts say the only time you should pull into a rest stop is for necessary bathroom breaks. Why? Because eating here will cost more than you think. Prices at highway fast food restaurants have gone up 30% in the last 5 years. Your best bet? Pack food for the road.
You guys want to get your snacks all ready for the trip? You want to come get your snacks? Come on, come pick what you want. Cheez-Its, your favorite.
Make sure you pack your kids' favorite snacks, or you could be dealing with a tantrum on the road. Another tip on your do list?
It's a really good idea to do a full tune-up of your car before you hit the road for a road trip.
At the very least, check out tire pressure and oil. And if you're taking to the friendly skies this weekend, don't be surprised to experience delays if you're flying in the afternoon or evening.
What do you do if you get delayed? Do everything you can. Get in the right line, but then get on your phone. Go onto social media. If you shame the airlines about problems, you may get help sooner.
What in the world? Imagine opening your dumpster and a pack of raccoons is staring back at you.
What? How? How? Are there this many of you right now?
Raccoons can't get enough of dumpsters. Social media is flooded with people who've gone out to empty the trash only to discover what's being called dumpster bandits. These critters are in serious chill mode, and these guys go in for a hug. It's easy for raccoons to get into dumpsters, but getting out is the problem.
I just found 2 raccoons in the dumpster.
It's simple. They just climb up using a fence or using a simple, surrounding area. They jump in, and then when there's not enough garbage in there, they can't climb out.
But if you step in to lend a helping hand, be careful.
Any wildlife is dangerous. If you're cornered, it can bite and things can go wrong.
A fishing net can scoop the critters out.
Get in. Get in.
In this case, a raccoon latches onto a branch.
Come on. There you go.
One woman used a broom to help a family escape, and a ladder has also come in handy. Animal rescuer Frankie Floridia gets many calls to get raccoons out of dumpsters. Here he is at work using a catch pole.
You'd want to get this loop around his midsection, over his arms and onto his, torso.
All right, you're good.
Another option, use a piece of wood that the raccoons can use as an exit ramp.
Just make sure it's sturdy enough and on a good angle, and he'll climb himself right out.
Just one at a time, please.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do. Yeah, love them. Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel. I feel amazing. Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.
According to the Census Bureau, nearly 15 million homes have mice. Another estimate finds 95% of attics have mice. And when the lights go out, sometimes the mice come out to play, especially in the kitchen. So we set up night cameras inside some homes to see what we could find.
These kitchens may look clean, but when the lights go off, the critters come out. Social media is filled with videos of rodents running amok in kitchens, even spotless kitchens. This mouse dashes off with a sponge.
You're so f***ed.
This guy is so freaked out, he chucks his shoe at the mouse on his stovetop. This hungry little fella climbs right out of the stove and steals himself an Oreo. And look at all these mice hiding out in stove burners.
When I walk into a home, number one thing I'm looking for is droppings.
Curious about what may be lurking in your kitchen? We teamed up with pest control experts in New York and New Jersey to find out for ourselves.
Make sure you don't have any holes exposed, any cracks around the garage door, anything. I mean, because as long as they can get their head in, they can get their whole body in.
With the permission of the homeowners, we installed surveillance cameras. It didn't take long for the mice to come out. They managed to scamper between all those traps. This Long Island kitchen has an even bigger infestation. Mice sure seem to have an affinity for sponges, even the dishes. 1, 2, 3 mice. Look at all those beady little eyes. So, where are they all coming from? Here's the point of entry. It's a hole in the wall behind the stove.
Mice can fit through penny-sized slots, penny-sized holes. So this right here is without a doubt the Grand Canyon of slots that this mouse can fit through, absolutely.
Giancarlo D'Andrea from TMG Pest Control says stoves can be a magnet for mice due to the food scraps that get left behind after cooking.
Just like human beings, mice, all vertebrate pests, we seek a few things, okay? We seek shelter, we seek food, we seek water. Just so happens to be that a kitchen has all of those. So this is like the absolute most optimal place to live and reside. Mice especially, because they fit in every single nook and cranny.
He showed us the access point the mice are using.
There's an ant trail actually going up and down the same spot. So this is 100% one of our entry and exit points. If we are dealing with a hole, something exactly like we're working with here, I like to just use some simple steel wool. It's really nuts to really put it into words of how this infestation really is.
So what can you do to keep your kitchen a mouse-free zone?
You want to make sure you're always taking your trash out. You want to really make sure you're keeping your property as clean as possible, both inside and outside. What I use is a multitude of traps that you can use. I'm not a big fan of complete extermination unless extremely necessary. So the first thing that I like to use, these are called tin cats, okay? Tin cats are basically a catch and release trap system. Mice are pretty intuitive and they're very smart. If you have these mice within this tin cat, they will most likely come back if you don't relocate them far enough or, exterminate the issue itself.
Maggie, what are you doing? There's nothing in the toaster.
Alternatively, maybe you should consider getting a cat. Cat may know best. Here we go. Getting in top physical shape is the #1 New Year's resolution this year. 95%. This week, people are swarming to the gym. But the sad fact is that just 10% will keep their resolutions longer than 3 months. It even has a name. The second Friday in January is called Quitter's Day because it's often the day folks give up on their resolutions.
I think everyone's really looking for the quick fix and seeing the results immediately. And in general, doesn't matter what you're doing, fitness doesn't work that way.
37% of Americans make a New Year's resolution. Some vow to sanitize their phone, cook more, make their bed every morning, stop gossiping. Here's a big one that people try every year.
It's Dry January. 41% of Americans plan to take a break from drinking alcohol last January. Only 16% of those people stuck with it.
Saving money is always a top resolution. Wall Street Journal reporter Julia Carpenter says people should be realistic about setting financial goals.
Instead of saying, I'm going to buy a house this year, I can say, I'm going to save for my down payment.
Psychologist Dr. Jeff Gaudier has tips on how to make your resolutions stick this year.
There's an acronym you can use called SMART. S for specific goals, M, measurable goals, A is achievable, R, realistic, and T, time-bound.
Folks are going bananas over what it's costing them to eat. Now, these 25-year-old twins from Staten Island, New York, are becoming internet famous for their rants about the soaring costs of food.
$1.25. They were 99 cents for years.
Inside Edition joined JoJo and Nikki Scarlotta as they bought lunch, and the prices almost made them lose their appetite.
The price of lunch going up, getting a sandwich for $15 with no side when you used to get it for $12 and a side. You know what I mean?
In this video, they pop into a market and are stunned at the price of prosciutto.
$14.99.
$14.99
for the pound? What was it about a year ago? It went up $2 in a year.
So, how do you get the most bang for your buck? I went to Morton Williams Supermarket in Manhattan with Brian Vines of Consumer Reports. Let's start with chicken.
$2.99 a pound for these lovely chicken breasts. But if you've got kids who only eat chicken fingers, $5.49 a pound. So are you gonna get these or just cut these when you get home?
When you're choosing juices, what's gonna save you a few dollars?
So this orange juice is $5.99.
That's right.
Save me some money.
Cha-ching, here we go. This orange juice concentrate, $3.49.
That's over $2 in savings.
And don't break the bank with your sweet tooth.
I'm gonna go with a little chocolate chip cookie dough, $6.49. This is an off-label brand.
Here's one final tip, the best day of the week to go grocery shopping.
Wednesday mornings between that 10 to 12 is a real sweet spot.
Taking a nice hot shower can be an invigorating part of your day, but it's also potentially dangerous. 2 weeks ago, musician Charlie Collin, one of the founding members of the rock group Train, lost his life after falling and slipping in the shower. He was just 58.
Do people injure themselves getting into and out of the shower? Is that most common, or can it be really doing anything?
Both scenarios, entering the shower, showering, and exiting the shower.
Emergency room doctor Ahmed Rashed says our 33-year-old model is just as much at risk as any elderly person.
It's not uncommon to see hip fractures or head injuries, which can be fatal.
He told me about some very common hazards.
Soap, conditioner, shampoo residue accumulates on the shower floor, which will make anybody slip and fall.
Experts recommend getting accessories to help prevent a fall. Things like a grab handle, just like this one, and a non-slip mat. This can help prevent a fall when there's a soapy floor that you could slip on.
This little ledge can contribute to a stumble or fall. Showers can also generate steam that might make you dizzy or lightheaded.
Do us all a favor and just sit on the floor. Don't lean against the toilet because you can fall off the toilet. Off the toilet, hit your head on the sink.
Bottom line, shower with caution.
If you have questions about laundry, this is the place to go to. The Laundry Lab at Consumer Reports. The first thing to know is that according to laundry expert Rich Handel, we're using way too much detergent.
Stop!
Whoa! That's all I need?
That's all you need.
This is all you need for most loads of laundry.
That's all you need.
Most people know that you have to separate lights from darks, but it's actually a bit more complicated than that.
So separate the darks from the lights and the heavy items from the light items. Like a heavy pair of jeans you don't want to wash with your light sweater.
I did not know that. I would just sort of throw everything together all at once. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
We also tend to wash too much at once.
Putting all the laundry in?
Stop! That's too much.
Too much laundry in here.
Too much. You're overfilling the machine. For a top-load machine, generally up to the bottom of this plastic ring.
You may not know it, but just about every item of clothing that you wear has a little tag that tells you exactly how that item should be washed and dried. You just need to know what these little symbols actually mean.
In this case, they're saying to use cool water when you wash it, no bleach, no machine dry. You can line dry it, use a low heat when you iron it, and it is dry cleanable.
Doing laundry is a chore we all dread, but with these tips, your clothes will thank you. From the bedroom to the kitchen,
Just rinse it.
to the bathroom, there's a good chance every room in your house is screaming out for a spring cleaning. Fear not, everything you need to get things gleaming is right at hand. Cleaning expert Caroline Solomon gave Stephen Fabian and his wife Thea some great tips. Did you know you have to clean your dishwasher?
This was in my dishwasher.
This was in your dishwasher.
Ew. I didn't think you had to clean your dishwasher.
You have to clean the thing that cleans the other things. Yes. About once a month, it's a really good idea to clean your dishwasher with vinegar. This is really going to get rid of any of that gunk that kind of accumulates on the walls.
Place the vinegar on the top rack and run as normal. What about your mattress? It needs a spring cleaning too. I didn't know that.
Baking soda is really good on a mattress because when you let it sit, it will pick up any of those lingering odors. You're gonna wanna let that sit for a couple of hours. We're gonna grab a vacuum, and this is gonna deodorize the mattress. And that's really all there is to it.
Simple as that.
And those baseboards are not going to dust themselves, or are they?
You're gonna grab a dryer sheet, just run it along the top of the baseboard, and it will just pick up that dust kind of like a magnet. And the best thing about using dryer sheets is that it will repel future dust because it has this magnetic charge.
I like that.
And there's no excuse for a dirty toilet with these newer toilet seats that snap on and off for a cleaning.
This is something you can't get to all the time unless you're removing the seat itself.
Cleaning the glass window in your oven can be quite the chore.
Isn't there nothing worse than like turning the oven light on and you can't actually see what you're cooking?
With just a few household items.
There's this fizzy reaction here, and that is breaking down that oven grease.
And that window is squeaky clean and clear again, thanks to baking soda and lemon. I didn't know that either.
You couldn't see through this
before.
before.
No, you couldn't see through it.
Natasha Furlong was still in shock when she posted this video.
Just opened my car door to put my daughter in her seat, and her car seat is on fire. Oh my God, is this even real life?
Is my car going to blow up? Is my car on fire?
Something caused the car seat to catch fire, but what?
My 9-year-old figured it out. It's the mirror is casting on this. Like, what the heck? Oh, that's gonna hurt. Yeah, could you imagine if she was sitting in her seat?
Now, some parents would have no idea of knowing that a small mirror used to keep an eye on your child while driving could be a potential fire hazard. So it got us thinking about other items you should keep out of your car as the temperatures rise.
Parenting expert Marissa Brainy will spend a lot of time in her minivan with her 3 kids. She's meeting up with car safety guru Lauren Fix.
You may not know this, but when you leave water bottles in the car, the warm temperatures will transfer some of the chemicals from the plastic into the water and also can cause the bottle to expand. So I would not leave plastic bottles in the car. Wow, these phones get really hot sitting in the sun. Remember, this car can be over 100 degrees, and it can also do damage to the battery in the phone. And remember, don't leave your tablet in the car either. The battery will overheat, and it will shorten the life of that battery.
What about sunscreen? Probably not a good idea, right?
You're right, because what it does is the heat reduces that SPF. So you buy a high SPF to protect your skin, but the hot temperatures of leaving it in your vehicle will reduce its effectiveness.
Aerosol cans, a big no-no.
Remember that these cans can get really hot, especially when they're trapped, and they can explode, and they're also flammable.
And from the dangerous to just plain annoying, crayons.
I always find stray crayons in the cup holders.
Right, and they can melt from the heat, and then they can cause damage to your car seat.
On YouTube, there are lots of videos showing how to rid your car of a colorful, melted mess. Yikes.
So you're at the beach, you're at a party, and you leave the alcohol in the car for later. What happens is the heat can cause cans to explode, but can also make the beer taste really bad, and it can change the flavor of the alcohol. So take it out, put it in a cooler, don't leave it in your car.
A baby deer cries after getting stuck in a fence. Police in Glen Rock, New Jersey were called to the home to free the animal. And she quickly runs off without saying thank you.
We told you about the alarming number of women who've been sucker punched while on the streets of New York City. Cops say most of the attacks are not related. And along with the increase in attacks, there's also been an increase in women taking self-defense classes. Our Allison Hall is one of them.
Many women are fighting back. I took part in a class at a self-defense group called Fit Hit.
Drive your knee right into the groin.
They've seen a spike in interest since the sucker punch epidemic began.
By a show of hands, how many of you have heard about the sucker punch epidemic here in New York City? All of you?
It's a lot. It's pretty scary.
Self-defense for women, it sounds like you think is pretty important.
Oh, it's essential these days.
Fit Hit instructor Tatiana Firpo showed me one move in particular that could ward off a sucker punch attack. It's called the answer the phone block.
The elbow comes up and protects all the spots on your face that could be broken. Your jaw, maybe your ear, nose.
Here's how it looks in action.
Good.
If the attack continues, fight back, says Tatiana.
Their eyes, nose, chin, throat, ears, jaw, the groin, and the knees. So that's what we usually aim for.
Again, here's how it would look in practice.
And then you get out once you know that you're safe and that you've done your damage.
Tatiana also has some advice about the space around you, the area she calls the bubble.
You need to be aware, not being on your phone. Your AirPods either should be really low or not even in. If you're looking down at your phone, you're not going to be aware of anybody getting close enough to hit you.
Sounds like good advice.
We all know about the need to protect ourselves in freezing temperatures, to wear layers of clothing and cover any exposed skin. But did you know that your phone needs protection too? Cold weather can zap the battery in short order, so experts recommend that you keep the power off when you're not using it. You can also tuck your phone in an inside pocket. Your own body heat will keep the battery going. We also have handy tips for keeping warm at home.
Hard surfaces you want to cover with a rug. It's that easy.
Home improvement expert Catherine Emery showed Anne Mercogliano how an area rug can keep your room toasty if you have hardwood floors.
Heat wants to get out, so if there's a rug down, the heat isn't going to be able to go anywhere and it's going to stay inside.
Closing blinds can also help keep the heat from escaping.
Want an added bonus? Add some thermal curtains. Think about this as like a blanket for your window.
During this cold snap, you need your heater working at peak performance.
Have you ever changed your HVAC filter?
No.
Okay, don't be intimidated. Just look for a panel on the side or the bottom like we have right here. You'll take it off. It's as simple as, you want to pull it out? It's as simple as pulling it out. And here you go. Want to put this one back in?
How is it? Is it
There
dirty?
you go. Oh, girl. We needed to change this filter. I'm glad we did this.
And wrapping the basement water heater with insulation is also a great idea.
So simple to do. As you can see, cut them to the size of your pipe and simply wrap them on.
It's expected to be the most traveled holiday weekend perhaps in decades. Fear not, though, we've got tips to make it a lot less stressful. Now, we're a family of 5 with 4-year-old Georgia here and our twins, Perry and Alan. And look, they're really good kids, but the thought of loading them up in the van and making them sit in what could be hours of traffic on Memorial Day weekend sounds really stressful and is gonna take a lot of planning. Parenting expert Marissa Brainey is sharing great ideas she's already tested out on her own 3 kids. Tell us about these trays.
These are my lifesavers. I found these, I think, in the dollar section at Target, but they have them at a variety of different stores. Right. They're really lap desks, but a lot of different options out there on the market. But what's so great about them is they have the different compartments and they fit right over the kids' seats.
Right.
So it's perfect for in the car. What I like to do is I actually pack these ahead of time, but I don't show the kids what's in them.
Smart, smart. So it's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
What are these bags labeled hour 1, hour 2, hour 3?
For a longer trip, you can kind of tell them, okay, once we're 1 hour into the trip, we're gonna have a little surprise bag. And right. It depends on the kid, but I put everything in here from like a new little activity pad that I get, at the dollar store, to even something that I already have that they haven't seen in a while.
What about on airplanes? Our expert says kids just need to be kept busy.
Some favorites I have are reusable drawing boards of any kind.
mean, we have a ton of different options in my house.
And the best part about this is, honestly, like, no mess. So whether it's by car or plane, here's hoping for a memorable Memorial Day and a fun trip with the kids.
It's the most snow that the Northeast has seen in 2 years. Winter returned with a vengeance this morning. 6 to 10 inches of snow blanketed the Northeast. In Central Park, it was a winter wonderland. Simply breathtaking. I dusted off my shovel and got to work clearing the walkway of my home in New Jersey. But someone my age needs to be careful.
This is like the slushiest, heaviest snow to shovel. And you have to be especially careful because this is the kind of snow that is a potential widowmaker.
Emergency rooms always see a spike in heart attacks during major snowstorms like this.
Use your legs, Sue.
Dr. Jose Deschamps is an ER doctor at Hackensack Meridian Health Palisades Medical Center.
People feeling very lightheaded or dizzy. Some people come in complaining of chest pain. If you feel any of those things, I would recommend stopping immediately, sitting down, and if after a few minutes you're still having them, call 911 and going to the nearest ER.
Here you got to really get down.
So see what you're doing there where you're picking the snow up? That's something to try and avoid as well.
Thank you for the tip.
Try to push the snow across and not so much lift.
Then when you're done with all that hard work, hopefully you'll have the energy to enjoy the snow. Just like these kids.
When the temperature gets this low, gadgets like these can help. Check this out from tech expert Steve Greenberg, a boot dryer and warmer.
You can preheat the clothes before you go out, and of course when they come in wet, you dry them off.
And look at this, it's a self-heating scarf.
You just hold the button down, it gets nice and warm. It's got different settings, so depending on how hot or not hot you want it, but this will keep you nice and toasty, and you gotta keep your neck warm.
These are rechargeable heated insoles, operated by remote control.
If your feet are cold, you're cold. You put these in your shoes, you've got a remote control right here so you can up the heat or lower the heat, and you preheat it, you pre-charge it ahead of time, and it really does keep your feet nice and warm.
For drivers dealing with the freezing weather, consider this checklist of necessary items to have in your vehicle.
You need a flashlight and you need spare batteries.
Audra Forden is founder of Women Ought to Know.
You absolutely need to have a blanket or something to keep you warm. You need gloves, you need a hat. You need some small tools. In case of emergency, you need a screwdriver, you need duct tape, some twine. Just in case.
Okay. Also on the cold weather checklist to keep in your car, first aid supplies and jumper cables. But did you know there are also items you should take out of your vehicle when the weather gets really cold?
Cans, if it's got a carbonation or anything that will, once it freezes, expand and then burst.
Right, so if you've got like a case of seltzers or something in your car, get them out.
Get them out before that freeze comes, otherwise you're going to have a party of seltzer inside your car.
Audra says leaving cell phones and other electronic devices in a freezing cold car is a no-no.
Why? Because the cold depletes the battery. So if you want to have a good long-standing life in your battery, make sure you get your electronics outside of your car.
And that's a good one too for kids stuff, because a lot of times parents have iPads or tablets in the car to keep the kids entertained. The battery's going to drain on those really quick in the cold. That's a good one. Great tips for dealing with this brutal winter cold.
Chances are you will give or get a gift card this holiday. More than 50% of consumers say they do plan to use them. But buyer beware. Thieves are stealing the codes off the gift cards before you buy them. Stephen Fabian reports.
It's a scam that has lots of shoppers on edge this holiday season.
I almost got scammed again.
Thieves stealing the money off your gift cards.
Yeah, the scammers are out.
Look at this police video out of Sacramento. Plainclothes cops tackling a suspect accused of shoplifting gift cards. When police say they found his stash, there were over 5,000 stolen gift cards. Authorities say scammers copy the barcode or they replace it with a new one. So when you pay for the card at the register, the full value of the card goes right into the scammer's pocket. In Pennsylvania, cops say a brazen thief can be seen putting gift cards back on shelves after copying the card numbers.
We recovered probably approximately 1,000 gift cards with
a retail value, a maximum retail value of approximately $200,000.
Across the USA, victims are sharing stories to protect others this holiday season.
The fake one, you can just peel the sticker off, which means they already have the numbers to that gift card. And once you load it, the money's already gone.
I just felt the back, and if you can see, there's a fake barcode on that.
I got a gift card from a parent as a teacher appreciation gift. The gift card itself had the barcode. It had like some residue, like super glue. So I do think that they messed with the barcode.
Sacramento's school teacher Nilisa Vega says it happened to her twice.
The second time, that's when I was like, I'm done. Like, this is ridiculous.
Better Business Bureau expert Claire Rosenzweig says you can protect yourself with these simple tips.
What can we as consumers do to protect ourselves from these scams?
This is for gift cards or any purchases. Save your receipts, save your documentation, because if you are scammed, you need to have evidence of the transaction. So you want to save everything that you have. So when you're looking at the gift card, first of all, you should make sure that the little pocket is secure.
Right.
And secondly, if you are able to see that barcode, run your hand over it. You should not feel a sticker.
So if you feel any kind of sticker, indentation,
Red flag. Go up to the cashier and say, check this card to be sure that the amount that's on the card matches the barcode.
Target tells us they're doing everything they can to prevent these scams and that they continue to educate their employees on how to spot the tampering of gift cards.
The City of Lights is turning into the city of bedbugs. Paris is ground zero of a bedbug epidemic.
There was a widespread bedbug outbreak in Paris.
And it's causing lots of anxiety for hordes of tourists and big-name celebrities returning to the U.S. from Paris Fashion Week. The creepy crawlers are said to be everywhere in Paris. Hotel rooms, even the metro. Bedbugs have also been spotted in movie theaters. And one report says they were at Paris's main airport, Charles de Gaulle. The infestation comes smack in the middle of the glamorous Paris fashion shows. Attended by celebrities, bedbugs don't care if you're famous. Timothy Wong, a pest control expert, says Americans are freaking out.
We're getting probably about 20 or 30 calls a day from people who just traveling, who are coming back from Paris, or people who are currently in Paris, and they want to come back and they want to know what to do when they come back, what kind of protocols they can take.
He says the first thing you must do is inspect your luggage with your phone's flashlight before you unpack.
You open it and you basically try to check the inside. You go for the corners, you go for the seams, and you want to check if there's anything that looks suspicious in there.
He suggests a home remedy.
You can use rubbing alcohol, 91%, and you just simply spray it. On contact, the bedbug or bedbug eggs, they will die instantly.
Other tips to avoid bringing those bedbugs home with you?
You take all your laundry, all your clothing, and put everything in the dryer in high heat for 20 minutes. No need to wash it, but if you want to, you can, but the heat will kill it.
It was the perfect job for me, the perfect opportunity, perfect flexibility. I was so excited.
Social media is flooded with recent college graduates who say they are being recruited for jobs.
$25 an hour, remote work, $20 an hour for training. I was like, oh, this is lit. Cool.
Sounds great, right? One problem, the jobs don't exist. The recruiters are fakes. Lily Cotto says she is one of the victims.
There was really no interview process. It was just, telling him about myself.
At first, she was thrilled when she got an email from a recruiter looking for a personal assistant.
When did you realize that things were getting a little fishy?
I would constantly have to deposit checks, and it just wasn't making sense.
24-year-old Tiana Arriaga deliberately sabotaged her job interview because she sensed it was a scam. But the recruiter wouldn't give up.
They call me back again for like a third interview, and he's like, we loved your answers, like that was like amazing, like we really want to have you on the team.
I graduated college a few years back, but get this, over the weekend I received a text from a job recruiter. Here's what it said, quote, "We urgently need 173 online workers with daily salaries ranging to $15,000. All you need to join is a mobile phone." How's that for a dream job? So how can job seekers protect themselves? Career experts say to always check the recruiter's references, be cautious of emails sent from personal accounts, and never give out financial information.
People like to believe what they want to believe. If you're looking for a job and someone sounds interested in you, they know that. Scammers work on emotion.
I just got scammed.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.